Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, well met. Welcome to the stream. Final stream this week. And it is more The Great Ace Attorney. Although this is like the second time I've slightly needed a couple more seconds to start the stream because I've yawned. I'm amused. That's twice in a row. Like, it's funny that it happened twice. Anyway. I don't got much preamble besides, yes, I moved the chat box over because I realized I could do that and I don't think anyone would really care, but they might kind of notice it, so I mentioned it. Okay, moving on. Game time! And yeah, I'm on the save file just because I was worried about messing up and hitting something. Alright, right, little Mies, you gotta go. Sorry, Mies. Only showing up for the chat window. Okay, yeah, it's just dead quiet. I forget how many times there's like absolutely no noise. Broly really needs a good night's sleep. Or 10. Anyway, Constable Beats report. We're starting off with new witness testimony. Picking right up from last time. Woo! Okay, let's go. Oh gosh, and then everything is in motion. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garidab. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garidab house are top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, and my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Hello, Grandma. They really do look like porcelain dolls. They look like dolls of some sort. They make me think of little figures from a cuckoo clock. Personally. Completely valid to think of other things. And Christmas ornaments, now that I'm thinking about it. Or those... what are they? Stop motion... roll doll? Roll something. A stop motion old Christmas timey things with like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and like there was one with Jack Frost. Santa got sick one time. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Easily distract hours. Just jingle keys in front of this Urion, which is me, and I'm just gonna be like, ooh! It's one of those days. It's one of those days. Anyway. Oh yes, I read this. Okay. I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for a moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Okay. I feel like they missed something. Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Ah, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. Ahem. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. I think that's the main problem of this man's existence right now, Van Zeeks. To be fair, the man... I'm not gonna go into that, but you don't function well when you're that tired. Oh boy. No, sir. Sorry, but... what exactly is a top-hinged casement window? And you. Don't excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Give him a break! He's not just from another country, he's from another freaking continent! On the other side of the world! Jerk. Of course. Sorry. I found him. Oh, also, he's only been here 2 days! Benzix is so rude at times. I mean, sometimes he's just Mr. Strict and comes off as rude because of that, but he's not actually, like, rude, if you get what I mean. That time was just being rude. Okay. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garideb's room. Alright, I'll try. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Oh, like that. Yeah, I've seen those windows. They're kind of a little scary at times because if the latch thingy doesn't work very well, it feels like it's gonna alligator jaws your arm or your hand or fingers or something. I don't like them. All the ones I've ever seen are just kind of jank. Or they don't open because, like, they have, like, a little lever on them and the mechanism's broken. So then they won't open. And you're just sitting there kind of just like, ah. Anyway. Fuck. Oh, is that tchotchke? Tchotchke for the shelf, both of them? Is it tchotchke? Tell me if I got that right. Okay. Oh, yay, okay. I don't see tchotchke written down very much. I'm surprised I recognized it. It's actually, I think, the last syllable of the chki. I'm like, wait, isn't that chki? Oh, it's tchotchke. How did I know that? Honestly, why did I know that's how you pronounce the end bit? I don't read words like that very much. How did I know that? I'm really confused now, but moving on, that's not relevant right now. But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. Casement window's most prominent feature is that it's J, a metal bar which prevents the window from being open beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening. This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have clattered against the panel and fallen straight down to the pavement below. No. You see the problem then. Good. Education in Windows is complete. I'm sorry, that's a funny line made funnier by the fact that Van Zink said it. Okay, I got the giggles out. Pretentiousness vampire is... What is it? Okay, the little heart icon is... Oh, it's such a pill? Yes, agreed. He is a bit of a pill. Trust me, he gets better. He's still a stick one though, that never changes. Hard to take you a pill. Oh no, I was just having trouble reading because you see the little heart button on the thing? Yeah, that blocks my view too, so sometimes I have to adjust the window so I can read the words behind it, because otherwise I just see, it'll be like, pretentious vampire is such a heart! And I'm like, I cannot read. But no, that's not difficulty me reading and understanding. I literally can't read, there is something in the way. Anyway. There was never any possibility, either the book or the knife, traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. That can't be! Oh, jeez. Did you see that, Rolly? The young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumpled before me. Oh, Broly, you're so strong. And they're being lovey-dovey. That's kind of rude, though. I want to smack him right now. Why is everyone so rude? I forgot how rude people end up being, and I'm like, I want to smack them. Quit being... Quit being censored words. Okay. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet. And already my argument's been destroyed. You sure about that, Ryunosuke? Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again. The court awaits your cross-examination. The judge is just like, poke, poke, come on. Up we go. My lord. That's not really Ryunosuke's voice. Let's see. My lord. Oh, good. Another desperate situation. Yep. Don't worry about it. We got Ace Attorney Protect status. We're gonna figure it out. Okay, let's press everything because he really stood out to me. How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. Answer is this. As the noble founding principles of the force written on it, as a reminder to all his policemen of our sworn duty. He told us that before, didn't he? Did he? Can't say I remember. Yes, he did. Even I remember that. It's been longer time. Thank you for the emotes. Patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. That's what the job's all about. That's why I can stand here today besides my long-suffering wife and tell you a Bobby's good for his word. Rubbing my tired eyes admittedly. Stop. Oh, Rowley, you're so manly. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with manliness, but okay, you do you. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. And they're being lovey-dovey again. That's gonna happen a lot. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that the case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mr. Garita? Ah, I see, sir. Should have said that so earlier, sir. Yes, well, so would you answer the question? It's a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. I'll answer to the fullest of my abilities, sir. How many times are you going to say sir? Also, it isn't sir. He's pronouncing it S-A-H. In case anyone was annoyed about that last time, if they were just listening. No, that's literally how he's saying it. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garyev's domestic dispute can't be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes? Very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the Great British Institute of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. He's only been here 2 days. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your perusal. I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Okay, I wanted this. Hold on, I'm going to look at that right immediately. Where is it? Can you have evidence? Oh wait, no, I don't want to present. I examined it. I almost hit present. That would have been bad. Principles of policing. Item 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Metropolitan police regulations. Item 1. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Item 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Something about that's going to be important. Okay. I don't think you talk with the windows. Let me see. Are we guys off crime scene? I feel like I want to press these 2 last statements. I'll see if I need to press it anymore, but let's try these last 2 statements first.
Hold it!
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Rowley's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. can't be expected to know the location of a police box on every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way. Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh my god. Do you get lost in each other's eyes? There they go again. Oh, please. Ryunosuke's like, can you focus? So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, I really was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby is never off of duty, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report? That's correct, sir. My eyes wide open the entire time. I looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. I swear to that on the yard Zarna, sir. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems to get altogether irregular to me. It's a burnt copy of the Lion's Pride, originally in the Garida household. The question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could be a different copy, sir. One that just happened to be burnt as well. Even if that were possible, would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As you can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. Well, sir, the book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? What about the statement that's not sitting right with me? Some mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back, and how that book ended up in her hand. Must be some common thread between them. So sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. I have no right to speak out. What do you mean? I requested the cross-examination of Mrs. Garideb without consulting you. Even if the judge did deny me. Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. We do need the testimony from Mrs. Garideb. If we're going to get the truth of this matter. Do you really think so? Well, think about it. Look at how far it is across the road, or how that window opens. Mr. Garideb's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it? You're right. And then there was Mrs. Garideb's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something. I'm sure of it. You're right again. We need to use this cross-examination and uncover more clues. Get to the bottom of this one way or another. I swear. Yes! Okay, so... No, I already seen that one. At least. I would have been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. Alright.
Hold it!
Work on these two. By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see. They're restricted to how much they open. And therefore, anything thrown out of the window from inside the room simply strike the pane and fall through the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Thank you. Here is the location where objects would have fallen. Yes. Directly opposed to the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinge casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. What would that be, sir? How do you even know? How would you have any idea of what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garidev's house is furnished with? Ah, well, sir, it's very simple. You see, I helped with this... Oh, hi. What do you want to say? Yeah.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering. That's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. We were just so lucky it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing the occupants of the Garidev household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, Sa. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garidev household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garidev's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on the other side of the road is part of my beat. Oh, wait. Did I say other? Wait. Oh, wait. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I misread that. Whoops. Got myself, though. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think. If the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think we perhaps should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately. Oh. Oh, updated case file. Now it's my turn, I think. Hello. Oh. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I mean, what is she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. His assistant is a lady, too, who's possibly younger than you. How old are you? I should have them. Yeah! Suzette, you're 21! Rolly is 23. Suzette's younger than her, and it's his valued assistant. I don't think that's the issue, Patricia. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Beat. I'll allow you to supplement your testimony if so desired. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that! Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's word counts for nothing, does he? She is all kinds of riled up. Well, watch out, sir. I might just let you get away with... Oh, well, I might let you get away with something like that, but my Rolly won't. I think you're not letting him get away. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I have no idea, Susato. I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though. Oh, okay, how off? Mrs. B, nobody is questioning what you've told us. I saw it, I did, that evening. I saw it clearly. A little Eastern man with the whiskers and that funny curved back slinking away from the sea. Ah. And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. Oh, very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction? Oh, yes. Well, it's a little embarrassing, really. Always ending up in the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Rolly. He gets ever so cross. Are you okay there, Rolly?
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem? Okay. Oh, no, there he is. No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. She was gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. She'll actually be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Look, Rolly, you're such a tease. The reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Rolly's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and... I think it's halfpenny. Halfpennies? Is that the abbreviation? I'm pretty sure that's maybe halfpennies. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies. Or would it be like half? Half pennies? I'm not sure how to read this. Yeah, but farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Ah! Ah! Oh, yes. That was just between us. I'm talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer anything useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. You have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add the details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. Yeah, he's just quiet. Hello, Van Zeeks. I forgot you were here. What happened was, I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Okay,
Hold it!
more info, please? You dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime. Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. We ran over and I saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. That was none of any of the crime scene photos. Maybe that's what Van Zeeks noticed and he was just quietly pondering that. It was in a dark spot where the street lamps weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Her husband, presumably. Oh, so she took the bouquet, so it wouldn't be there. But, this is interesting. That's right, silly me! I've gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think of how it got there. I really can't. The bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? The worst of it is, I forgot to pick up the bouquet again when we left the scene. Oh, so it actually was still there? The beautiful rose Rolly brought me. With the change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. A bouquet? You perhaps mean the sorry solitary rose. Oh! Oh! Yes, that's it! That's a bouquet Rolly bought for me on our anniversary, with odd bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. Hello, Lord Van Zeeks. Where did you come by the flower? That was a nice recognition. According to the report by the police officer in charge of a crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garideb household. In front of the Garideb household? Although, it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Believed to be of no relevance to the case, it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Could I have it back now, please? No. I think for good measure, this road should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. Denied. Poor woman. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Sure that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. Oh, we're back. I want to look at... Oh, wait. Person for Patricia Beat from her husband Rolly. The shock of seeing the stab victim caused Mrs. Beat to drop the rose where she stood. Huh. That is a pretty flower, though. Not gonna lie. All right, I probably should scooch over. Whee! All right. And look at what it's wrapped in. I want to look over a bit. It's a very stylish paper the flower's wrapped in, isn't it? It's just an old newspaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Ah, Susato-san, I do love your cakes. Oh, that was adorable. Anything else to look at? An English rose. Such a beautiful flower. Ah, this is a rose, is it? Never seen one before. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Naruhodo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out. Learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. Calling out The Naruhodo line for only knowing very small amount of flowers. Oh, no. It's the same dialogue. I'm not sure if this is going to have anything that I needed to examine, but... Oh, wow! It even got that right. And it's cut at an angle. Yeah, if you've ever seen professionally cut flowers and it's at an angle, it's because the ends of the flower can get a little bit more water if it's cut at an angle. I took a floral arrangement class one time. I don't remember very much from it, but I remember that. But yeah, it does seem to help. It's not by vast amounts, but it is noticeable. Anyway, I think that's it for that. I think it's more of the location and stuff that was found. Wait. I didn't take my eyes off the crime scene for 1 month. Sorry, nothing strange to report on that. Maybe that's where I put the rose? Oh, well, I suppose it could be like ass. Like, that doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you have seen the rose go away? Yeah. Whoops. Let's see. Yeah, I think that might be what to do. Give it a shot. Yeah, actually, how much? I think I got a ding. Yeah, I did. I don't think it's safe. Cautious gamer instincts are hard to override. Even though I don't usually reload to get it good. At the very least, if it goes circling around, it's still...
Objection!
Oh no, that was right. Okay, cool. Immediately tell when it cuts out. The music cuts out. You claim, Constable Beat, there is nothing to report. In the 15 or so minutes you are guarding the scene. That cannot be. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court when you arrived back at the scene of the crime, the policeman assigned to that beat, that the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Oh, hi. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road, to where the victim was attacked. Considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry blossom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. That's so rude, Van Zeke! Somebody needs to teach you manners! And not just the high-class ones. My goodness, man, have some tact. These cases are all so crazy. Yeah, they are. Oh my gosh. Wait until you get to... Oh gosh, if you think this one's nutso, you should see the next one. And oh gosh, all the cases in Resolve, I think... Well, maybe the tutorial one for that, because it is... We're gonna have another tutorial one, but it's not boring, thankfully. None of these cases are boring. All of them are a little bit hard. You have to think a little bit, which I do kind of appreciate. Anyway. Meager?
Objection!
If that were the case... No respect for others, reduced lifestyle. I know! It's so rude! Not everyone can afford everything. Back off! I mean, seriously. Leave people be. They're not doing anything rude to you. Patricia might. I think she's about to tell Van... If she tells Van Zeeks off, that's gonna be amazing. Because honestly, I don't remember if she does or not. But if she does, I'm gonna go Patty, go. I want Van Zeek's butt to be humbled. Okay, well, let me pull up history here. But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysterious. Wait. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Think about it. Yeah. It is hard going from other voices to the ones I need to do. Ah! Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Gary Deb's book. Mr. Gary Deb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, at the scene of the crime, on the east side of the street. In fact, it was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garideb's house. There's no logical explanation for those things. Unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says? Rittling on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking. That's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garideb's come round. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garideb. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, jeez, I got a few of them. Sleepy boy could snooze through anything. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it. A very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering. I've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have the cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. The evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Miss Maid comes to mind. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think it's Miss Maid. Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? Rolly.
Take that!
Because he wanted to go to the anniversary meal. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat. It was you. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? Too obvious, I guess. There are some moments where the game just throws you a bone. What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? He wanted to go to your anniversary meal. There's no one straighter than my husband. Nobody works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat. You said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection!
If that were true, Principal Beat would have seen him do it. Oh! And forgive me for pointing it out. But when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. And, well...
Objection!
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. Now you incriminate a policeman as well. The accusations lack one very important thing. Claim the crime scene was tampered with. There's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right! He's right! But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Ryunosuke is not backing down. Local Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. It's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Yeah. I have, at least. Even at this point when I was first playing through, I'm like, oh, I think I have a good idea. Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. You are mistaken. And I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. That stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Deep breath. Constable Beat's motive for tampering the crime scene was to hide. The book fell where the bouquet fell where the victim fell. I heard the victim fell to the ground. It is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here. As if anyone didn't already know. Certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? Oh, now she's just back to the side. I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. After assertion, and the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Right here. Like, which button do I hit?
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, that wasn't. Let's see. On the evening in question, Mr. Garidab's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious! And the court's in an uproar.
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. These witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's side, it was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. And Zeke's like the Captain Obvious answer to everything, so lazy. He doesn't want to work to interfere with his tailoring appointment. No, Van Zeeks, you have to stay in court. You can't go get your clothes fit. Margaret has spoken. He moved all the things shown in this print. The victim. Victim. He was right. Victim, herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the other east. The pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. The constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? Bouquet, I presume. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago of the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position, the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rowley Beat. Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rowley. It isn't true, is it? What the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Oh. Only, it seems... it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all this? Oh, Rowley, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? You're going to jail. Wishing the victim dead. Wishing... I can't say it with a straight face. Wishing the victim dead should be one too. Ryunosuke, she's like... Patricia, quit acting like the victim's dead. It's like that one meme, what is it? Sometimes I can still hear the voice, and then the person in the back is like, I'm not dead! It's like, there it is again. You know, that kind of thing. I'm absolutely sure the words are not the same. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. for damaging the yard's reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation. Menzies. Or why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? Could you possibly know? Foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. They're another human being, you dingus. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks, it's this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. He got told off. Yes. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. Yes! Ryunosuke gets it. Van Zeeks is a dingus. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. It gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions. It's in here. Because, this one. Yeah, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. It's item 2 of the Metropolitan Police Regulations. So, I need to present it.
Take that!
You? I realize I'm a foreigner in this land, and have only... I hit the button when I was halfway through the dialogue, oops. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bubbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, through honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. No doubt the young Bobby's is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. For Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? Have you not been listening, Judge? On the account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes! It was our very first wedding anniversary. Van Zeeks is understanding now. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. I was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. And he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. And he saw that shadowy figure through the fog, crossing the pavement ahead of them. It must have gone through the man's mind. But just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. I wanted to show my my dear wife how much I care. Hi. Did you get kicked out? I'm talking to my cat, sorry. She's complaining at me. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Ah ha ha! Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day. Yes. Everything you said. It's alright. So that's it. It's all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh! Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good. Good gracious! Constable! You realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a copper that I even cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. I ran over to the scene with every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. Got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was laying, what that meant for me. The crime is discovered on his beat. The policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? He just went and had a meal with his wife. Poor guy, that's a luxury even. It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. Couldn't believe the words were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Mersham Street and then... explaining. I'm not actually explaining, because we don't get the details. Susato's just so shiny-eyed there. She's so sympathetic to this poor man. Oh, he finally stopped chewing on his hat. He's all teary-eyed too. Oh gosh, there goes the waterfall of tears. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Rolly. Just that one night. You knew if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Across the street, the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought... Well, I was sure that the victim was dead, you see. The truth has set this chin strap free! It has! He's chewing on it again, though. It was not freed for long. I beg your pardon. Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement. Ah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I brought for Pat. Oh no, Rolly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Rolly. Are these two gonna be jailbirds together? And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garidep household, of course. But why did you place that book in the victim's hand? And all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir. That's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. I'm sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding. Oh yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. Oop. Book is updated. Oop. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only the 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it, I thought. Couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. Oh, everyone's dead quiet. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zeeks? I believe concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir? What will become of my Rolly? What will happen to him? For now, you're free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? This be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. Never again make it the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Never again, sir. You mean to say? Leave. Ow. This trial is not yet over. Sir! Was Van Zeeks being nice? You're actually being nice, Van Zeeks. Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Never thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that. Oh, you wouldn't believe the half of it, Josh. Oh gosh, there is a lot of crazy things in this, Ace Attorney. Wait until you see about 100 years from now. Oh boy. Okay. Indeed, my lord. Nonetheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Zeeks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will. If further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime. This lady. Oh, the crime scene being moved, might we say. Spirited Away! Ah, yeah. Start rolling the scene of Chihiro in the train. Oh boy.
Take that!
Mrs. Garideb. Because she was throwing things around, and this is what happens, lady, when you throw sharp objects! Because that's presumably what happened, and probably did what happened. Thank you for the emotes. The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again, my assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it is imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garideb. Me? Me? Oh, dearie me!
Objection!
Request has already been denied.
Objection!
Situation is very different now. Mrs. Garideb, answer me this. What do you want, you little toad? That was kind of fun saying that. At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garideb. In the course of their argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. On striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down. Finding its way, what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you could not just book. Anything you could lay your hands on. She's not denying that. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garideb. This knife, one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid eyes on it before? Ah! Still done. I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there is in all that regalia said the members of the jury needed to testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No. I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake. Jurors are not special in any way. We're not immune to the judicial process. You know something about this knife, madame. Let the truth come out. But this is just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like them at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? You're joking. What are you saying? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garideb? At least the discount vampire is honest. Actually, yeah, if you've noticed, Van Zeeks has... And, well, we've only seen one other case with him. But he has been surprised a few times. when Ryunosuke has pointed out the truth. Even in the last case, it was very apparent that he got surprised every time Ryunosuke pointed out a contradiction or, like, the likely truth, because I still think Mr. McGilded stabbed the guy. And, yeah, so Van Zieks even thanked Ryunosuke one time for pointing out the truth. So, for as much of a jerk Van Zieks is, he is also seeking the truth. He's just not as creative as Ryunosuke is. Or just like, sure, it may look like this person was stabbed, just, you know, no fuss, no muss. It's very straightforward, but Ryunosuke's like, no, I don't believe Natsume is guilty. I think if Van Zieks took a little bit of a different approach, they'd probably be more or less on the same side. It'd be very much, like Phoenix and Edgeworth in the future mainline series. The mainline series that takes place in the future. Anyway, now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. You have a handprint on your husband's face. I think that's a bald-faced lie. I think you mean to say you wouldn't want to endanger a person's life with your antics, because as much as you said that... Bull Pucky! The poor woman. So, yes, what evidence? I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop, do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. And take the stand, juror. Oh! Prosecution does not object to the defendant's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. I'm going to have to testify. Number 4. As I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garideb. Mark my words. This court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, consuls? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that is what I'm hoping for, my lord. Ooh. I don't think we've heard this song. Oh. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it really feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. It's really sinking in. I don't blame him. Witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garideb. And I'm, well, I'm a juror and such like. It sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. You understand, madame? Yes, my lord. You tell the court everything that took place in your household in the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh dearie me. She is literally shaking in her teacups. Oh, Chin up, Johnny. Nothing to worry about now. Mr. Gary Deb! Oh! I didn't know you were here, John. It's the... Oh, look at her face! I'm sorry, but that's cute. She's like my hero! Shiny eye. That's honestly really cute. I totally forgot about that little animation. This is why I like replaying video games that I like. Wasn't you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Well, it wasn't only you in that old room, old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? If you're worried about that, hardly noticed it. The sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. Jean Garideb. Yes, sir. Formal second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the Northumberland Police. I should know this word. Am I gonna remember how to pronounce it? It means like they can fire cannons, I think. I can't think of the word quite right, and I don't think I'm gonna, let's see. Stellier? Something like that? Sir, seen my fair share of action, now living the quiet life, as it were. Quiet life? You're not engaged in an incendiary... Why did you have to say this word again, Francis? I had problems saying this Monday. Ah! Incendiary. Okay, I'm just gonna change the word. Quiet life. You're not engaged in a battle of flaming projectiles. Your spouse on the day in question. Yes, I know that's not what he said, but I cannot say the other word. Moving on. Well, ahem, quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Being a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. I imagine the juror being related to a crime being something that doesn't happen very often. Usually, if anyone's sort of related, they don't allow them to be jurors. Because, like, if they don't allow family, friends, and all that, anyone who's even remotely involved, like, usually I think even if it's, like, a person's establishment, they may not let them be a juror. They can be witnesses and stuff, but I don't think they let them be a juror. Pretty much. If you have any stake in this thing, whether it be positive or negative, they don't let you get involved. So this is a pretty rare occurrence. I wonder if it's happened in real life. Now I'm curious. Maybe I'll look it up, maybe I won't. I don't know. However, court will hear your testimony now. Juror number 4, that of your husband. You will recount clearly and concisely events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once. Okay, again. Ah! Sticky fangs. Ah. No, I'm just being silly. Another witness testimony, let's go. Battle of Garidem. Oh, that's silly. Yes, the day you're referring to, my wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Candlestick over and set fire to the carpet. Soon had it out though, and got the window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around our place. I'd say I'd notice if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. That bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours. Left a job proving it, I think. It sounds as though it was quite the battlefield in your household that evening. Although, an entirely one-sided assault, it seems. Fensix is not impressed. Somehow it's normal to have unprecedented and odd things that, and then, yeah, to have in this game. Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's kind of the charm of the Ace Attorney series, is just, there's a lot of cases that look straightforward, but then they're not. I mean, it is functionally a puzzle-solving game, because, how to word this? Practically speaking, all of these are logic puzzles. You have to logic your way through what could and could not happen. So yeah. The game does a really good job, at least Chronicles here, does a really good job of telling you what you need to know as long as you pay attention. Or, you know, keep looking through your evidence and replaying witness testimony, and you gotta remember the kind of the facts of the case. I guess if you're forgetful, you definitely want to have, like, a piece of paper, or, like, You sound like Officer Beats. I was like, I'm sorry, I get sleepy. It gets around 2 o'clock, I get tired. It's like the second half of me streaming. I always get yawning. I know, it's bad, but yeah. I'm not as sleepy as Officer Beat, though. Goodness. That man was asleep on his feet. I wouldn't be surprised to find out he was a sleepwalker and talker and task doer, which is possible. That actually happens in real life. People will even try to drive cars, and it's a real pain in the butt, because trying to hide the keys from them ends up being a problem, because even if they move into a new place, the person still has to know where the keys are, and they'll still try to drive the car asleep. They're sleepwalking. It's kind of crazy. Obviously not that common, but it does happen. And it's a real problem for those ones who get that unlucky jackpot. No problem, Star. Aw. Okay, well, Sleepy Leo. I'm a sleepy little Leo Theo. Okay. Enemy caught us on the hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig in and take defensive measures. To be honest, enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, veterans such as myself, only too aware that on a battlefield, you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment. Surprise. Surprise is nice, Leo Theo. Yeah. Ah. Are we still talking about the marital quarrel here? Sort of? Never mind me. Well, must say I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of the jackknife. In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. Witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they have testified already. This may be a dead end. This may well be right. Well, whatever the chances, we have this last cross-examination to uncover the truth, Mr. Naruhodo. You kept saying that last trial, but we had that happen, like, I think, like, 8 times. There is no last cross-examination until we actually are doing some big dramatic "you were the baddie" reveal. Oh, we're gonna have plenty more probably after this. Yes, I'm afraid so. Very well. Very well, Consul. Begin your cross-examination. I also think the game's just hinting at me. Go, press every little detail. Thank you for that. You're gonna laugh every time I yawn. It's a bit of a pain in the butt because I have to get the voices. It's hard to do voices when you're yawning. Yeah. Don't you dare. Moving on. Okay, let's
Hold it!
crackle this. The reason that you told us yesterday. The reason is what you told us yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. If I remember correctly. Okay, I'm really yawning, jeez. Maybe it's I'm yawning so much because I can see myself yawn in the recording and it's making me yawn more. Oh my gosh, I need to close my eyes every time I yawn now. I'm gonna be perpetually making myself yawn. It all started because of a note that was tucked into the pages of a book belonging to Mr. Garida. A rather passionate note, in fact. Mrs. Garida found the note, discovering her husband's little secret. And she gave him a mighty number of slaps across the face for it, too. What a sordid state of affairs. Hell on earth. Oh, geez. I can't. He's like, I don't want a life that's that scary. Wait, Bensix, would you like a homely little wife who's like, look, I baked you your favorite scones? Do you want like a mocap wife because you're Mr. Big and Scary and then she's like a cute as little butt? I would love that. Could you imagine the difference? That'd be so funny. Mr. Vampire and then his wife is just the most cottagecore, brightly colored, just adorable little thing ever. That'd be so cute. I don't think he's interested in anyone though. What is the cute thought? The difference between the like big and scary and then just adorable. There's a few couples I think in media like that. It's always really cute and kind of funny. Oh, it reminds me, there was another one, a character who was actually present in the story for a while and then they only found out later he was married and they're like, who is your wife? You never get to see her, but it is kind of funny that this Mr. Serious Will Stab as a warding has a wife. It was so funny. Anyway, could it be a Mrs. Van Zeeks? And pick this cow. Van Zeeks becomes a workaholic because he's scared of angering his wife. Okay, moving on though. Oh boy, this poor man has to put up with so much. I say, when a chap says he can't recall such things, it's common decency not to drag it all up. Besides, half of it was a wide off the mark anyway. He's so worried he's gonna get hit again. Don't you dare. A likely story. These waters run very deep. And what transpired next after these multiple blows to the face? Okay. Oh yeah, this is about the fire starting. And the fire also spread to some items of furniture, didn't it? The bookcase, an armchair, anything on mine, really. It so happened there was some bath water around that evening, so I sloshed that about to put it out. Been tailoring appointments and avoiding the wife and Zeeks is busy! What kind of image are you tailoring in your mind there? Of Van Zeke? Oh, I'm dying. The most precautious situation you put yourself in. This is a 3-story townhouse on the west side of the street. The water main isn't connected yet. Draw water from a public water pump during the day if you need any, you see. The lodgers are always moaning that they can't get any water at night. Although, a little mustached Japanese man buys water in bottles, I believe. Defendant Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, he receives a stipend for his studies, you know, from his home country. Can you imagine? being able to brew a pot of tea at all hours. He's obviously very well off. Have you actually seen the state of the man? Ryunosuke! I mean, you're not wrong, but Ryunosuke! You know what? Actually, fair. Fair enough. I believe he uses all his income to buy books. Well, anyway, the point is, I was able to douse the fire with water, fortunately enough. Okay, this is... Oh yeah, she's trying all sorts of things. Even though the room was on fire. As far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. When a woman wants to throw, she must throw. It's most certainly not true of a Susato takedown, Mr. Naruhodo. How did you know I was thinking that? Because she got your number, I guess. Even though... Oh gosh, when were phones invented? They should have been around. And at least telegrams. I think, yeah, telegrams get mentioned in this story. I know they have telegrams. Do they have phones yet? I don't remember enough of when phones were invented. They wouldn't have numbers then. That would just be like a house number, but... She's got you read like a book. That works. There's most certainly books. Those are old. So, please cast your mind back to that. So, please cast your mind back and try to remember. The writer of this game definitely finds women to be very formidable. I think it's Shu Takumi worked on this game. The creator of both the Ace Attorney series as a whole. And you might also remember me blabbering about him in my Ghost Trick stream. Because he also did Ghost Trick. I would love another game in that world. I don't need it to involve the same cast. It'd be cool if they showed up in the background at some point. That'd be cool. I don't need to play as them again. They got their happy ending. Their story is wrapped up pretty darn well. That's part of the reason why Ghost Trick is so good. But I would love another story in the Ghost Trick world. It'd be so cool. But yeah, I think it's Shu Takumi. He wrote the scenario, at least. I don't know about the specific... Obviously, he didn't write the English dialogue. That's, I don't think he speaks English, let alone be able to write it. But, yeah, I got the base premise must be the same. So I guess Shu Takumi finds that women can hold their own. But you know what? Actually, yeah, in the whole series with him writing, you got a lot of strong female leads. I'm pretty sure that might be one of the reasons why the Ace Attorney series is so popular, is because, like, everybody is well written no matter what. No matter who or what they are. It's well written. Just people are people. It's great. So a highlight of the game series for sure. Adventures of the Mortal Kitten. Hey, be careful what you say. I need a stretch, sorry. Stretch break. Okay. Was the knife among the items that you threw at your husband that day? Thank you so much. In all honesty, I don't recall. But I feel I must point out that I'm no monster. Let me see. Some bread, a cabbage, garlic, a towel, and a sponge, a napkin. I think your husband has something to say.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garideb. Oh, got his attention now. Emma, don't shoot! Ah, sorry. Beg your pardon. This poor man. If your wife remarks just now, bring something to mind. Nothing of any significance, no. Just that the barrage of projectiles the old thing launched in my direction somewhat more solid than she applies. Books, bricks, fire poker. Seem to recall. Ouch. The woman's aim is uncanny. And then direct hit with every... Ah! She's filling up his pipe. That is her go-to response to getting her husband to shut up, is it? Good grief, woman. We're not at home now. This is a court of law. Oh, dearie me. We're so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? How much tea does this woman have on her? Woman has a lot of tea. Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. I'll take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened, Your pipe, sir. This thing in my hand, as usual at the time of the onslaught, tried to clean out with one of her soft projectiles. She did, yes. When I went to pick the thing up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage. It could. It's just... needs to be a lot faster than that. You ever seen a tomato shot out of a cannon at a concrete wall at the speeds tornadoes can get to? The concrete wall breaks. Obviously the tomato does too, but the fact that a tomato can do that, yeah, it's scary. I know that's oddly specific, but that's what they were using at the time, because they're like, yeah, tomatoes, soft, squishy, mush them. Yeah, wait until we freaking shoot them out of this cannon thing to show you what happens when a tomato goes at speed of our tornado. And I was like, I do not want to live anywhere close where there's commonly tornadoes because, oh my gosh, everything is deadly. So yeah, tornadoes, they're very serious and I find them terrifying. So hello, Theo. all you Mises with your silly comments today. You're making me laugh so much. I see. Your pipe was broken. Never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I managed to bandage the thing up for now. Ah, you're one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? I don't think you take things too seriously. I wonder what we should make of this account. Could be important. The defense believes Mr. Garidev's remarks just now to be of great significance.
Objection!
Hi. War veterans' words only tell us one thing. Betray a fiery wife and pipes, as well as hearts, to be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps. Hardly worth adding to formal testimony. Indeed. Common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Yeah, that's what I'm more interested in. Well, I don't see why not. Oh, dearie me. There you go again, trying to ingratiate yourself with a young lady. I think it's in your head there, Mrs. Garidev. First-hand knowledge, discount vampire. Seriously, what kind of image are you little beasties painting of Van Zeeks today? Oh boy. Very well, the court will accept the gentleman's pipe as evidence. Update. I'm gonna look at that. I hope I didn't speak out of turn, Mr. Naruhodo. I almost said Mrs. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, did I ever mention that Naruhodo, phonetically speaking, sound is, there's a phrase, which is Naruhodo, and it means I see. At least it's commonly translated to English as I see. So that's why Ryunosuke Naruhodo is, his last name is Naruhodo. It's a pun off of the phrase I see. So I think his name, roughly translated into English, is Dragon Boy I See. Or at least it can be translated like that, very roughly. I want to stress, very roughly, which I do find kind of amusing. Because it's like, I see a dragon boy! Which is rather silly, especially because his name would be pronounced Naruhodo Ryunosuke in Japanese, so it's I see a dragon boy. Which is fun. And in case you're curious, Phoenix's name, he has a Japanese name, so they did change his name for the English release, but Phoenix's name is Ryuichi. So, I don't know the suffix for his name, but it still has dragon in it. Fun little facts there. The Naruhodo line really likes to name their male children with the word dragon. Or Japanese dragon, to be more specific. That's what Ryu means. It actually does not translate to dragon. It translates to Japanese dragon, which is different and understandable because, yeah, Japanese dragons are a little different from Western dragons by quite a lot. But also very similar at the same time. One of those fun things. It's like all the men in this game. DP has strong, intelligent women keeping him on track in the background. I was just feeling rather disappointed for you that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Sako-san, I have new evidence to work with. You should examine it carefully. I think I'm just going to do just that. Well, thank you for that rebuttal, Mr. Garida. Now, if we could return to the crux of the matter. Can you tell the court about the knife used to attack the victim? Hit here. Oh. Yeah, I need a hit. Please. The cat is chirping again. Did this yesterday, too. Okay, yeah. Oh. Oh! Hello! Oh, I'm in the way. Mwah. Oh, something just twinkled inside the chamber of the pipe here. Yes, I saw it. Something stuck in there, I think. Let's turn it over and give it a shake. What's this? Tiny fragments of metal. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Tip of a blade? Surely it couldn't be. Fragment of metal has been added to the pot. Ooh, good thing I look at that. That is definitely gonna be. There's a chip inside here. It's a small nick out of the bowl here. Look, it appears to have been made relatively recently. I see how there are little scrapes and dents all over it. It's clearly a well-loved pipe. Yes, you're right. It seems to me recently that being well-loved goes hand in hand with hitting some battle scars. This particular nick is catching my eye though. It's clearly new. Yeah, apparently a knife hit. Give you a hint to hit, put in there. You know, I think I did that my very first time playing through it. I immediately looked inside and found the metal and then found that, and I'm like, well, I already found the bit of metal. And I'm still doing the same thing now. I think this is just this. It looks to be in a sorry state. The bandage around it, doesn't it? But for some reason, it feels slightly ominous to me. Like it's trying to shout out a warning. Probably because it's the same blue as Mr. Garidev's dressing gown. I suppose it must have considerable sentimental value to Mr. Garidev, given that he's gone to the trouble of repairing it like this. Either that, he heads upward to replace it. Small piece of metal looks like it might be a blade. Okay. Which way? Oh yeah, like this way. This is the tiny piece of metal we found in the chamber of Mr. Garidev's pipe. It looks like the tip of a blade or something. Tip of a blade? Yeah, the knife in question that the stabbing knife is broken at the tip. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? I don't really know. Just something niggling me. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. Perhaps in that case, it'd be wise to examine some other pieces of evidence again. Oh, okay. We need to investigate the knife again. Okay, let's open it up. It's broken. Okay, it broke it. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. Wait, what bit is missing? I could be wrong, but I've just got a feeling. You remember this? Ah, that's a tiny fragment of metal we found inside Mr. Garideb's pipe. Yes, and just maybe. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow, I just knew it. Oh, is that up? Is that up? Okay, who would have thought that the tiny piece of metal we found in Mr. Garideb's pipe would have been a perfect fit for the missing tip of the knife from the victim's back? I'm glad it's not in the victim's back, though. It's extraordinary, isn't it? It fills me with a sense of awe. It's surely proof that miracles really can happen. Yes, more miraculous proof I couldn't ask for. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I need to move. That volley thing is in the victim bag, really ours. I think I need to show point. I'm gonna save just in case, because if I'm wrong, it's usually easier just to reload it than hear through all the "you got it wrong" dialogue. Present this. It's tip of the knife. Because, yeah, the description of it said it was found in the pipe, so it should be what we need to know.
Objection!
Yeah, there we go, no music. Mr. Garideb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please? You can ask. I can't see a bally thing. You can't? They used to call me Dead-Eye Deb back in the regiment, of course. That was some time ago now. He's a poor old man. Even when I'm trying to enjoy a large print book by the fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dear me. It's rather wearing being asked about every other letter and every other word. You must be very dusty. Dusty. You must be very dusty. Ryunosuke! Quit playing around! What is that? A tiny scrap of metal. Yes, almost certainly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear at first to be just a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. And he's like, huh. Interesting. Where did the defense buy this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garideb's pipe. A pipe, you say? Jove, or how that got there. Jove Justice. What precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it is in some way related to the matter of the stabbing on Briar Road? Oh, why are you smacking your face again? I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. His britches are burnt! Oh, you guys are gonna have to go back and look at that. Oh Oh gosh, I forgot about that. This is just the stream of me laughing at everything I forgot that I find funny. His britches are burnt through. You can see his striped underpants. He's in the middle of court. Does he have any other clothes? Is the reason why he's always in a robe because he doesn't have any shirts? How poor are these two? I feel sorry for Mr. Garideb. He's not done anything unfaithful. He just found a love note with some addressed to a James, not John. And then his wife beats him senseless and sets their house aflame. And now he's have to deal with this malarkey for the same incident. This poor man cannot get a break. You appear rather confident in all that extraordinary... Oh, confident in that extraordinary statement, Counsel. Very well then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court. Evidence, when paired with this fragment of metal, allegedly reveals the truth of this entire case.
Take that!
Knife. This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you will see there is a small piece at the tip of the blade that is missing. Common issue, these inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in their victims' bones. Ooh, that's morbid. What of this particular knife? No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languishing somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection!
No, that is not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of metal we discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garideb's pipe. Ah! Oh! He looked like he got shot! Oh my gosh. Good grief! Lord Van Seeks! I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene. This fragment of metal. Perfect match. Good golly gosh! And there goes the courtroom again. I forgot that Van Seek's taken aback animation makes him look like he's freaking... He's just like, out of my chest. Order! 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 Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? No, I think it's called science. They fit together because they're the same thing. Well, they once were the same thing. It broke. Anyway, that's not sorcery. Fancy gets so upset. This is no magic, my lord. This... miracle. Miracle? Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain this extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did this fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garideb's pipe? Something that was clarified for us clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. This thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles, she did. Yes. Never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh my gosh, she's shaking again. Oh, dearie me. And the argument between the two that occurred, the victim was on the pavement below. Mrs. Garideb flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garideb, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course. Good lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garideb's pipe. The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. And yet there's no other credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. then, losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out of the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garideb's house, it's the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Oh gosh! Oh dear! Oh! No! She's standing on the box.
Objection!
What do you mean, objection? Oh, I think I know where this is going. Full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. Complex. Wait. Yeah, that is complex. Okay, I'm just gonna choke a little bit. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, possibly arranged to create an almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry. After all, it's just a theory. Bottle, I fear, is corked. Because, you see... Axe kicked the bench! It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. Insurmountable... What? Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. What is this inconsistency you have claimed to identify? Inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ah! That's right! You silly little man. Oh, John, old thing. What are you getting so excited about? Let's consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement before being stabbed in the back, falling to the ground. The knife that struck her had fallen from above. Oh, there goes the glass. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Are you sure about that? I believe I mentioned in last stream, or maybe it was a stream before that, of an easily explained explanation. Scout Vampire one things to her. Oh. Stiff. Order, order. Quite right. You see, that's exactly right. The knife had fallen on her from above. It was struck her on the top of her head. Well, come on, Ryunosuke. It's lost for words, look. I knew it. I would never liked his theory in the first place. I don't know, though. It really did happen. We can go his way. He has to play with this. It would appear the defense has made a rather spectacular blunder. That theory has even one inconsistency. Do not stand. The theory, my learned friend, is history. Come on, Ryunosuke. I feel like nudging him in the shoulder. Come on, Ryunosuke. You were so close. See the truth. So sure we were on the right track. Oh, the way has been blocked completely. By just one simple inconsistency. You get it, Margaret. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the theory will stand. Susato! You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. And your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key to this is the court record. I'm sure all the information you need is there. Seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, silence speaks volumes. Attacked acceptance that your theory is fatally flawed. He's still got his head. Ryunosuke? He said that while in this pose. This inconsistency, it means I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Okay, what did he say before? This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means I need to sharpen my mind, dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. Are you implying? Counsel? Brain is smoking, he's thinking so hard! He do be. I wasn't expecting to get to the end of this today. I thought it was gonna take me one more thing, but I'm getting confused with the other trial. Ooh, but we're gonna get onto the 5th trial. That one has one of my favorite moments in this entire game. Actually, there's like 3 moments in this game. Of course, the final case when you're like, you are the big bad is always like, you know, chef's kiss, great moment. But, there's one which is like, I'm just gonna be like, redacted, because that's spoilers. But this next bit, it's the first time Pursuit, I think, ever plays in this game. Because otherwise we get Prelude to Pursuit, I think it's called. Because I think this one is called Pursuit, the Resolve of Ryunosuke. And the first time that plays is in the next trial. It's a good moment. I want to see it again. Okay. There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. And explain how a knife that fell from above would have pierced the victim's back. I already have the answer. Goodness! Utter madness! Early this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak. Deep breath. This is the last inconsistency. Final piece in the puzzle. I'm going to save. I don't want to choose. I'm like, do I pick the book or the photo? I think it might be the photo. Maybe. Let me go see what the descriptions are. Secondary photograph of the scene taken by a policeman just after the incident specifically shows the victim's hand. But she's holding the book. So I think that is what, oh, this is, it also was in the victim's hand. Okay, so I think I can just show the book. Okay. I needed to check because sometimes, yeah. You might be able to show either or, but I think you're supposed to show the book. Because the book has it written down that it was in her hand. So it should work. And successfully make sense of this. The truth will be laid bare at last. Evidence that explains how the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is the book. This, the 4th book found at the scene. The final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book. Is that not Mr. Garidub's book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be, the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. As we now know, all now know, police constable that put the book between her fingers like that. Yep. You got it, Margaret. Quite so. As part of his wholesale planting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however. With his testimony, Huxtable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place the book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, it's because that's how I found it. When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, it must have been before she suffered the knife wound. Oh, I should say so. Being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. So, the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see that what might have happened now. Oh, dearie me! You know the book fell from the top floor of the Garidab household onto the pavement below. Precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment, a woman was walking along the street in the light fog, and all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. The book I threw! Yes, Mrs. Garidab. What do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose you might have reached down and picked the book up. Yes, that's exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh! Oh heavens! And when the woman reached down to pick up the falling book, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was still bent over picking up the book, knife! The next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at the same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I never! It appeared to be Mr. Natsume. The woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. Ah! And from the other direction, Constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. There never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No. This was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. That was one heck of a series of unfortunate events if I ever saw one. Tsuruta has done a lot of work keeping Ryunosuke on track to solve this. Yeah, I love that the assistants also really help out the protagonist. To the point that really they're the dual protagonist. Because Susato really helps out. She kind of just fills things in. Obviously, Ryunosuke doesn't know everything, so Susato looks it up for him. They're a great duo. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garidab? The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There, hold me. Poor Mrs. Garida. No. Of course, I never meant for anything of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? Those two need a break to get settled and enjoy their visit to London. No kidding! Take full responsibility. Let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book. And I threw the knife as well. The judge is quiet. John, dear. It's alright. I know. I'm ever so sorry. Truly. I'm sorry! And there she goes. Oh, dearie. Oh my gosh. Don't let a guy with a bad knee hold you up! Lady! Oh, there he goes too. Well, that wasn't surprising in the least. Also, I think this is one of the very rare trials, if not the only trial in this entire series that doesn't have somebody die. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Mrs. Garida? She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear that today's events have left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course, with no cause for concern. Those pants having fire, damn. I know, right? That made me laugh before. I totally forgot about that, so it showed the behind. Oh, that was really funny. Get a full view right then. Full moon. Anyway, move on. I'm moving on before I make more dumb jokes. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, it goes what could have easily have been a terrible tragedy. They shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. Just had word from the hospital where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily. The doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we've never once met her. How wonderful! The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. Ryunosuke's pleased. He's like, yeah, I like hearing her do better. So, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Hello, Natsume-san. Still nervous as ever. Yes! On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I'd like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. Why do I get the feeling Ryunosuke's plainly looking at Van Zeeks? Van Zeeks is like, I don't care. Sasaki's at a loss for words. No, it's me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, a woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes. I jumped to the wrong conclusion again, in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was so sure the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog. Like they're haunting me. Oh, that's right. It's trial for Mr. Soseki. Oh, we haven't seen Soseki in so long. You forgot about it. Which, for those who don't know, Soseki Natsume is an actual figure in Japan. Like, this is he's named after an actual person, and his appearance is based on the actual person of Soseki Natsume. Yeah, I think Natsume is gonna be his last. I know Natsume as a last name at the very least. I've seen enough characters named with it. But yeah, Soseki Natsume was an actual real person who became, or at least is now known as a famous literary figure. So, you know, he wrote things. One of which of his stories translates to, I think, I Am a Cat? Yeah, I Am a Cat. So, yeah, that's why there's a bunch of cat puns for him. His most famous work is I Am a Cat. If you watch Bungo Stray Dogs or read it, yeah, it's named out there. There's a Soseki Natsume in there because everyone's named after people who wrote books and stuff. Anyway, moving on. Where's Soseki-san? Imagination has got the better of him. Yes, oh man. What had happened? I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help! For a doctor, for the police! Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between our two empires. And for that, I am truly sorry. Everyone's quiet. No one was expecting that. And could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. One that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks, our young lawyer here from the east, the chain has now been broken. The spirit exorcised. I heartily commend you both. Oh. You're not gonna say anything, are you? Nope, not even a sound. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As the foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a fair and just conclusion. I do declare, the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Hi, Mr. Card. Sitting in for the old bean when she's out of action, you know. But I know what her decision would be. I mean, I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work. Well, it's about time. I say, crocker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Have fun, old man. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
I like hearing all the little not guilty or guilty voices, because you're actually gonna hear them. What if we voice them all? Probably won't be an easy thing to find out. Very well, Mr. Soseki Natsume. I hereby pronounce you... not guilty! Woo! Confetti! And then I think it's gonna do... yep, there it goes. Fireworks in a building, which still to this day looks so dangerous to me. Also, how tall is the ceiling for you guys to feel comfortable to light off fireworks? And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord Sir. You are now a free man once more. It's my hope that you will continue to further your education in British culture. May you never again be brought before me. Oh, of course. Oh, yes, sir, of course. On my life. I swear I'll never set foot in a courtroom again. I'm transported to tears. And he's crying. Hold it. Oop. Oh, right. Thank you for that. I'm like, I thought I saw chat doing something. No, I'm like, right, there's emotes. Whoops. Yes, thank you for the emotes. Thank you, consuls. Court is adjourned. Okay, now we just got the wrap up. Am I? Hello. 20th of February, 3:17 p.m. That guy has to get to work real quick to bring home any kind of payment for the missus. Poor guy. I hope he doesn't get beat up by her. Oh, Locum! Hi, Natsume. Wait, you mean me? Oh, of course! Is there another Locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, your name has become rather short, hasn't it? I'm with using my actual name. Oh! Oh, at last! I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! Okay, have fun there, Soseki! Mr. Natsume is going off. Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard just to say that, then? Locrum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault, after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal, Locrum loyal! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I have just never gotten used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering black brick buildings. And from high up windows, I see them looking down on me, laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsume. But today, you, Locum Lawyer, gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind that baronial bench before all those blabbering British. You battled to the bitter end. You bear the baffling truth. And when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of Bailey's roof, I bellowed, "Behold, the best barrister ever born!" Tries again. That's very flattering, and we're very pleased for you. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Well, there you are, my dear fellows. Oh, hey! Shlooms! Harlock Shlooms! I apologize for keeping you waiting. I was rather late this morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Shlooms. Why are you okay. Never mind. It's Shlooms. He does what he wants. Oh, Mr. Shlooms, what a pleasure to see you. See, I'm here not a moment too soon. Disaster has been averted, I'm glad to say. Oh! The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. Shlooms? It's just finished. What? No! My haste was in vain! Ah! It's you! Herlock Shlooms! Oh, have we met, sir? I kind of forgot what I gave voice. I can Mr. Shlooms. This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Shlooms. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or in that prison cell. I think we couldn't place you at curious face. In the light. Pardon me. It's all your fault. Herlock Shlooms. For the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I have placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor young lady and ran off, are you not? Ah. But she had been taken to the hospital more urgently. I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human, after all. Anyone have been shaken by such an experience. This is like... You're gonna call me out, I'm gonna call you out. I do feel badly about how I behaved. Well, never mind. Now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Have you been cowed? Yep. Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I'm sorry, really. But... that was quite priceless. Or so Saki-san. Still, on the bright side, an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. And it would seem, we're not even found guilty. There's no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after all this, I'm still cursed. By the spirits, and... now by the Reaper! Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. I haven't forgotten, you know, what facing that man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed! It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. Hmm? If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Yeah! Oh, just flip. Yep. Bye, Ryunosuke. With a perfectly executed Susato takedown. Did you really have to do that, Ryunosuke? Just I like being turned on my head. A bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. Poor Natsume's freaking out in the corner. I don't think that was as comforting as he thought it was, Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, what do I tend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh! It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here, and the city it has shaped. I've come to realize that it is my calling to sail home and tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw halfway around the world to escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all. The more I learned of literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelled to return to my roots, and attempt to pen a work on my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. Would be an interesting read. You don't say! You don't say! What about... oh. And what about Miss Susato and yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustached compatriot? Why would we? The week has not yet passed since we arrived in London. And only now does it feel as though we have finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel at present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room. Ah, but what it lacks in windows, it more than makes up for with a floor, ceiling, and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the cursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit? Oh yes. Tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. We'll think about it, if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcoming alternative. Consider taking lodgings with me. Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself. Though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price. and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. Oh, this is simply wonderful. What an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the great detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. Well, suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Ryunosuke knows what he's being. And it's settled. We shall prepare our welcome dinner this evening. You must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say. Thank you. And yes! Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. It shan't take long. Somebody's happy. She's gonna go in the attic with her favorite detective. Locrum, I knew you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege to meet you too. It's a shame we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize that I belong in Japan. Locrum, we need to meet again one day. Yes, I am sure. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, be a successful author. Well, my dear fellow, it appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sloan. I've little doubt that Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, with Sosaki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Mr. Shlomes to what was to become our new home, the 221B Baker Street. Neat. Is that it? Nope. 20th February, 4:41 p.m. The attic room. There's a stove. That would be good for heat. And there's windows! So this... is to be our new office, yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too! It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step. I like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. I don't know the half of it. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh, he's out of his coat and hat. I haven't seen that very often. Wait, is this our first time seeing Mr. Shlomes without his coat on? Coat and hat? Here's Mr. Shlomes without his coat and hat. Ah, Mr. Shlomes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Shlomes. I simply adore it. Good, I am pleased to hear it. Chris and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsume arrives. We have lots to celebrate. Iris, you must let me help you. Alright then. Susie, you can be in charge of the salad. Splendid! They're having fun. Good, 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 good. Hello. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel? You have your own office in the capital. It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office in at this premise. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. With the brightest of lights, as the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies beneath London's facade already. So, once again, Mr. Naruhodo. He gives a bow. Welcome to London. Let's just end with Mr. Schlums being serious for once and saying shit. I love it when Mr. Schlums gets serious because it's always like, oh, things are bad. Or it's just the one moment like, you definitely need to listen to him. Of course, at the time, I had no idea of the significance of those words Mr. Schlums so casually spoke. What do you mean casually? He looked you right in the face. He made direct eye contact. But it wasn't long before my turn came. I left the facade and see the true depths of the murk that lay behind it. Case 5. I believe this is gonna be a save. Yep, and woo! Trial 4 down! 1 more to go of adventures and the 5 of resolve. So, I'm gonna say yes to that, but I think I'll switch to here. I'll go save it in my own time. Oh boy. Yep. There we go. Yeah. Yep. I wonder. No, I'm good. Okay, I'm just seeing things. My eyes. Okay. So, 4 cases down, and we're on what? Part 13? This is 2 games in 1, so I know it's gonna take... Oh gosh, it's gonna take so long. It's gonna take so long. Oh boy. But we are getting to the halfway mark. We are getting to the halfway mark. So it's probably gonna be about 30, 40. Feels like at this rate. I might have to be having longer streams, but we'll see how it is. I guess it also depends on how quickly I get through these. Some of these might have taken me longer because I was sorting through the evidence, trying to figure out what in the world was going on. But I'm like, I get to points and I'm like, oh wait, I know what's gonna happen now. None of it me taking like 5, 15, 20 minutes trying to figure out what in the world's happening. I'm more like, oh yeah, I remember now. How do I say that? But oh gosh, it's so good. There's so many things I forgot. Lots of funny little things. And I'm going again. Ah. I guess that's as good as any reason to say that I need to wrap this up. Okay, that is the last stream for this week. We have to be next week for more streams, which there should be. And for now, if you did like this stream, I would appreciate any likes or comments you feel willing to give, if any. It's okay if you don't want to force anybody. Same with if anyone wants to subscribe to things, like maybe you want to see the rest of this as slowly as I'm going to be putting it out. Or not, and whatnot. But yeah, I'll be still trekking along. I think we've got another code, still working on that. I might just have 1 stream of that next week and something else. I don't know what the something else is going to be. I'm torn between like doing Pokemon or... What was I thinking else? Can't remember right now. Well, it's probably going to be Pokemon since I can't remember my other option. In any case, that is it for this stream. So thank you all so much for watching, whether you're returners or you just happen to come by. I very much appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch my streams. And for now, I must bid you all adieu with a fun bye-bye, and I hope to see you next time.